Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We just got a roadmap update for May 21st, 2025. We have a lot of really interesting things to go over. There's a lot of updates for stuff coming in 4.2, stuff coming in subsequent patches after that. We have some additions to the progress tracker for potentially engineering and FPS scanning coming pretty soon, to be honest, from what we can see. We're going to go over all of it, break it all down, and talk about it. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. And right before we get into it, I will quickly remind you that I am running a giveaway for the Greycat MTC with lifetime insurance and the Concierge Moonstone paint. I will be doing a drawing for that at the finale of Invictus. All you need to do to enter that is leave a comment under the video that I have linked in this video's description, and then you will automatically be entered to win in that. And then when I do draw a winner, you just need to be able to contact me via Discord so I can verify that you are who you say you are. So with all that being said, let's get into the roadmap updates. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So first, I will note, let me zoom in a little bit more here so you can see it a little bit better. So they have a note that the redacted cards are purposely hiding details to avoid spoiling content for players. As we have now started our test cycle with Evocati, you will learn more as we progress through the development of 4.2.0 and beyond. So let's dive in. So first, we'll really quickly just skim over some of the cards that were set to release that came out with 4.1. There was the local site maintenance missions that were finally put in, the animal population control missions, Hunt the Polaris, the special kind of Invictus Fleet Week mission. We had a couple new hairstyles added, the new Volt SMG Quartz, really fun to use, by the way, if you have not tried that. Contested zones, it works really well. There was also a components balance pass done for shield generators, and a lot of different components got some adjustments. And then there was additional Wicklow ships that were added that you can get from turn in favors to him. And then we also had the new space combat missions, the training, patrol, and ambush missions. So that was all the stuff that was just set to release for 4.1. So now let's get into the new stuff with 4.2. All right, so here we get into the big stuff. So first, we have again, this is all just new cards that are added for the new patch. First one is new creatures, adding multiple new creatures to the verse. This card has been set to tentative. What I think this is, if you have not seen some of my leak videos, there have been data mines and indications in the files that there is likely going to be both the adult Valakar added to 4.2 as well as the Apex Valakar. Now, possibly it'll be a slightly different version of the Apex. It'll be irradiated, so it'll have probably some different behaviors or properties to it that the normal one wouldn't have. Maybe we'll get the normal one as well. We'll have to see. But that is probably the two new creatures we're going to be getting, is those other two stages of the Valakar. We already have the juveniles in game, so now we're going to be seeing the bigger ones, which will be very interesting to try and fight those. I'm very excited for it. So really excited to see that. And maybe it's something else, but from everything that I have seen so far, it seems to indicate that the adult and the Apex Valakar would be the most likely creatures to fit into this card of multiple new creatures coming in with 4.0 or 4.2. All right, then next we have adding an additional 4 hairstyles with the update of 4.2. I think I have a picture that I will throw up there for you to see what those look like. I think there's just some more traditional kind of normal hairstyles, just continuing to fill out the character customizer and making that just easier to use, more variety, all those sorts of things. So nothing too crazy there. Next, we have a pretty big one that we're given a little bit more information on, and that is radiation. So implementing dangerous radiation zones in specific locations, forcing players to adapt with specialized gear and strategic navigation. So this will probably be, of course, like I've talked about, there's some new potential areas in some research facilities that you need to use specialized gear to get some different items. There's also some places potentially on Pyro 1 where there will be radioactive storms. So you'll need probably specialized gear to go into those areas as well. We'll have to see for sure what it ends up turning out to be. But I'm really excited for it. I know they showed this off, I think at CitizenCon 2023, I want to say. But we've kind of just been waiting for it since then. So this is a really big gameplay mechanic that they can definitely do a lot with going forward in the future. So I'm really excited to get this in the game. Next, we have the ASD Research Facility. I believe, if I remember correctly, that's Associated Science and Development, I think is what that stands for. Strategically located on Pyro 1. Okay, it's right there. I just could have read it. The Associated Science and Development Facilities that provided essential infrastructure and sandbox gameplay opportunities for planetary operations. So this is a new location facility area where part of the new, it'll be like the sandbox activity or something like that, will, at least part of it will probably take place here. We also have the ASD data center, strategically placed on Pyro 4. The Associated Science and Development data centers are providing key infrastructure and sandbox gameplay opportunities for planetary operations. Again, the wording on those ones is a little bit vague. I think they're keeping it like that on purpose, so you can have a little bit to find out for yourself. So looking forward to checking those places out. I've heard there are going to be other locations as well that just haven't been either put in or mentioned quite yet. So we probably will get that on, we'll probably hear about that on another roadmap update, probably in the next one in a couple of weeks. So really looking forward to checking those places out. Next, we have a sandbox activity. Adding a sandbox activity utilizing new gameplay mechanics and vehicles to tell new stories in the verse. This is a little bit interesting because I wonder if part of these gameplay mechanics with potentially these what we've seen in data mines like storms and your ship can get struck by lightning and blown up, it might make it really necessary to utilize ground vehicles more to get to some of these locations and move around. So we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. But the new gameplay mechanics, of course, there's radiation. There's probably going to be other things that we either just I haven't gone over yet or we just don't know about quite yet. So very interesting stuff. It looks like that they're going to be utilizing in this new sandbox activity. And next we have a mention of the Argo Atlas IKTI. Adding the Argo Atlas IKTI is a versatile new combat vehicle developed for upcoming challenges, ready to prove its value in an upcoming new sandbox activity. So it makes it sound like you'll probably want to have a couple of these around for whatever these new challenges are. Maybe it's fighting an adult Valakar or something. Maybe this will be really useful for protecting you from it. We'll have to see. I'm excited to try it out. I've been really excited for it ever since it randomly showed up in Wicklow's Emporium. So very much looking forward to getting that in the game. Next, we have some more Wicklow special ships being added for 4.2, adding multiple new ships and vehicles to the ever-expanding Wicklow's Emporium. These ships and vehicles can be unlocked by bringing the NPC Wicklow a number of favors in exchange for rewards. No idea what the ships are yet. I hope it's not like ships that would be bought in game, like new ships that came out, say at IAE, like the other Mark II Hornets. Even the Guardian that came up with 4.0. I know that, well, the Guardian's already a Wicklow ship, but I would hope that we get some of those other ships like just buyable with in-game credits in the shops. We didn't get any, I don't think, with 4.1.1 that were added. So we'll have to see what ends up being put in there, but more interesting ships. My one hope is that they make it a little bit easier to maybe pick specifically what ship you want, instead of just getting a random one out of the different kind of pools that he has available. So we'll have to see what they end up doing with that and see what new ships are added there. Next, we have the addition of the Volt Laser Shotgun Prism, adding a cutting-edge energy shotgun that ramps up its pellet spread with heat, delivering brutal close-range bursts powered by Volt. That sounds really interesting. So ramps up its pellet spread with heat. So maybe as you fire it, as you continually fire it, the spread of the energy beams, or whatever it fires, that'll increase. Which in my mind, that would kind of sound like it makes it more inaccurate, unless it like also increases the amount of bolts it shoots. So it sounds very interesting, and I'm intrigued. So I'm looking forward to finding that and trying that out as well. Next, we have the Sterling Exploration Suit. Introducing the Sterling Exploration Suit, a heavy utility armor built to withstand extreme radiation, enabling safe traversal through the most hazardous zones. So I think I'd showed this in one of my other videos that have been data mined. This will be pretty much essential, I think, for a lot of the stuff involving the radiation. So you'll have to use this. It does not have that good of an armor rating, so you're not going to be very protected from combat threats, but it will be very necessary, of course, for what they're talking about, being able to go into these extreme radiation environments and do what you need to do for the new sandbox activity, or whatever other things there are that they have you to do with those. Next, we have a really, really big one. We have a dynamic rain. Adding dynamic rain in specific locations as a first step towards Genesis dynamic weather. So it's not the full dynamic weather system they showed with Genesis, but we're getting part of it, which I am very excited for. I think it'll, one, help with the kind of, the overall atmospherics of the environment and stuff. Two, I would hope it will have some effect on maybe your flight. Big, if you, I imagine seeing like a bunch of like ships fighting in this storm, and it's like all dark, and you see the occasional like Idris laser firing through the clouds or something, so, and then like the lightning lights up the whole sky and you can see everything for a second. So we'll have to see if that ends up being the case, but really, really, really cool. I have showed a little bit of that in some of the other leak videos that I've had. There have been a little bit of video that has been posted about that. So it looks really good so far, and I'm sure it will improve before we get to the live release of 4.2. So then that is all the cards at the moment for 4.2. Then we do have a couple of extra cards that are listed as 4.2.x, so 4.2.1 or 0.2 or something like that, the patch after 4.2. So we have a new global event, adding a global cross-shard event that builds on collaboration and competition, scheduled to come in a 4.2.x patch. Very interesting. I don't know that we've had a cross shard event this year. I can't think of any. Well, I don't know. Would Supplier Die be that? I mean, you were kind of competing with people at like shop terminals across shards, but I don't think I don't think that's entirely what they mean. So, really, really interesting, and there's not much else to go on there, but I'm excited to see whatever it is. And then we have another new card for 4.2.x. We have New Space Combat Mission Defend, adding a collection of missions tasking citizens to defend various places against attackers, scheduled to come in a 4.2.x patch. So more space combat, maybe a new objective that'll be added to some of the existing missions, like the patrol missions. We'll have to see, but just some more variety. Really good to see. I'm excited for it. And then last, for the 4.2.x cards, we have a new medium utility armor, adding a new legendary medium utility armor scheduled to come in a 4.2.x patch. I have no idea what that means by it being a legendary medium utility armor, but it sounds cool. So maybe that'll be for some other mechanic that we get in that patch that you need this utility armor for. Maybe it'll work in synchronization with the radiation armor. You have to do a different thing. I don't know. We'll have to see, but that's all for the 4.2 cards. Then let's go ahead and let's transition over to the progress tracker for a moment, and we're going to talk about some things that have been updated or added to that. All right, so I'll just list off the couple of bullet points that were updated or added for the progress tracker, and then we'll actually look at that for a moment. So we have the new global event in 4.2.x, the Space Combat Mission Defend, FPS radar and scanning, and engineering gameplay. So the first two, we already talked about. Those last two, though, those are big because I think they were technically already on the progress tracker, but there have been some little additions or updates to them that make me think that we could probably see them at least in a tech preview channel, maybe in June, early July, somewhere around there. So very, very interesting. Let's hop over to the progress tracker now, and let's take a look at that for just a minute. All right, so here on the progress tracker, we can see the FPS radar and scanning part, a little section for it. It's showing the work for it is listed to go towards the end of July, right around the beginning of August. So again, as they indicate, it's not guaranteed that when that little bar is up, that's like when it comes in. There could be additional work that's needed and whatnot from other teams, but from what I can see here, I would not be surprised if somewhere around here, maybe in August, we would get the FPS radar and scanning in a tech preview channel, and maybe it sticks around there for a month or two, and then maybe by October we get that into the patch that's going on around then. So very, very excited for that. That will totally change like FPS combat. It's gonna, yeah. If we once we do get that, that's going to change a lot of how combat is done in the game. So really cool to see the little update on that. And then let's look at the card for engineering as well. And then what's interesting here is for engineering, I think I remember looking at this previously, and the little bar here showed it was going till I think the end of May, I want to say. So it looks like it has been just slightly extended into the middle of June. So that would make me think possibly we could get it into tech preview, possibly in June, maybe it would be July. Stick around there for, a month, month and a half, something, however long they need it to figure things out, iron out bugs, all that sort of thing. And then maybe we'd see it in game by August, maybe September, somewhere around there in the next few months. But it looks like it is increasingly likely, I think, that we at least those are some features that we will end up getting at some point this year. So I'm very, very excited for it. That is another really game-changing feature with the it touches like everything in the game, and I won't go on about it for, super long or anything, but really excited for it. Really excited to see the new gameplay opportunities and gameplay mechanics that it'll bring into the persistent universe, and seeing how that changes things. But that is going to do it for this update from the roadmap and the progress tracker. Make sure to let me know all of your thoughts on these changes and additions down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think of what we know so far of 4.2. Do you think the Atlas IKTI will actually be useful, or, will it just kind of be dead on arrival because you can just snipe someone in the head? We'll have to see. But let me know any of your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more news and Star Citizen updates like this, feel free to subscribe. And until next time, I will see you in the verse.